Hey guys, welcome to week 2 of our Meal Prep Made Easy series. I'm really excited about this series because every week this month, I'm going to be sharing a brand new menu that you can prep on Sunday so you're eating well all week long. Today's menu is really exciting because it's full of beautiful, bright, fresh flavors and a ton of nutrients. All of these incredible recipes are available in my Meal Prep Made Easy ebook. It contains all of the recipes, shopping lists, and lots of tips and tricks for simplifying your Sunday meal prep. All the details are in the description box below. Now let's get started with our coconut curry soup. I love this soup because it can all be made in your slow cooker. Basically, it's just a dump and stir. For this yummy soup, we are starting with some coconut milk. Now I'm using full-fat coconut milk. You could definitely use light coconut milk here if you wanted to. And to that, I'm going to add some vegetable broth. Next, I've got some red curry paste. You don't want red curry cooking sauce. That is a different thing and does not have the same amount of flavor. So I'm going to add that to my slow cooker with a little sprinkle of brown sugar and some peanut butter. If you have a peanut allergy in your house, no problem at all. You can either leave it out or sub in some tahini sauce, which is actually made of ground sesame seeds. We're also going to add some fish sauce. If you wanted to keep this completely vegetarian, you could leave the fish sauce out, but it definitely adds a nice savory flavor to the soup. And of course, nothing packs a punch quite like the combination of garlic and ginger. So we're gonna add a whole lot of both. We're going to whisk all of this yumminess together until it's nice and smooth, and then we're going to add our veg. So I'm adding some finely sliced onion, some beautiful red bell pepper, and some mushrooms that I've just sliced really thinly. I'm doing this with cremini mushrooms, but you can feel free to do this with white button mushrooms instead. Finally, I'm going to add some firm tofu that I've just cut into cubes. If you didn't want to use tofu in this recipe, you could definitely add some cooked chicken or some shrimp instead. Those would both work, but I highly recommend adding them at the end of cooking as opposed to at the beginning. So we're gonna stir all of this awesomeness together, and it's this simple. You can either do this low over 6 to 8 hours or on high for say 2 or 3 hours. Your house is gonna smell amazing, trust me. And after about 2.5 hours on high, you have this gorgeous concoction. We're just gonna finish this off really simply with some fresh lime juice. This is just gonna brighten up all of those flavors, and some freshly chopped cilantro. I know some of you are cilantro haters, but trust me, all these flavors together, you won't even taste it. This soup can be served over rice or vermicelli noodles or eaten completely on its own. It will last in your refrigerator for 4 or 5 days or in your freezer for up to 3 months. Next up, we've got some beautiful sesame ginger salmon, and I'm real excited about this because take a look at these salmon fillets. They are spectacular. And we're just gonna whip up a really simple marinade. I'm starting with a little bit of sesame oil, and to that I'm going to add some rice wine vinegar. Next, I'm going to add some soy sauce, some honey, and some sriracha if you like the heat. You can definitely leave it out if you don't, but trust me, it takes this salmon to a whole other level. I'm going to finish this yumminess off with some minced garlic and some freshly grated ginger, and then I'm going to whisk it all together. I'm going to transfer my salmon pieces into a zipper bag and pour my marinade over and make sure it's well covered. Once your marinade is evenly distributed, you're going to put your salmon in the fridge for 20 to 30 minutes and let it soak up all that tasty flavor. Once the salmon has soaked up all of this beautiful flavor, it's time to transfer it to a baking sheet lined with parchment paper. Trust me when I tell you, parchment paper is a really good idea with this recipe because the honey in that marinade loves to caramelize and is a real pain to get off your pan afterwards. And then we're just gonna finish these with some sesame seeds. Sesame seeds actually are loaded with nutrients. They also give salmon a beautiful crunch. Into the oven it goes at 375 degrees until the salmon is cooked through. This gorgeous salmon can be stored in your refrigerator for 2 to 3 days. I like it best when served with rice, or over salad, or with these amazing roasted veggies I'm about to show you. For my roasted veggies this week, I'm starting with some beautiful mushrooms that I've just cut into quarters. To that, I'm adding some fresh green beans that have been trimmed and some sliced red bell pepper. I'm going to season them simply with a little bit of sesame oil, some soy sauce, some salt, and some pepper. I'm going to toss these all together well, pour them onto my baking sheet, and into the oven they go at 375 degrees for about 15 and 20 minutes, or until all the veggies are cooked to your liking. So good. Just get yourself a fork, man. No big deal. These veggies can be stored in your fridge for 4 to 5 days, and they are delicious eaten hot or cold with pretty much anything. Next on today's menu, we've got some awesome veggie fried rice. It's really easy to make and can be made with leftover rice, or you could swap out the rice and actually use quinoa instead. So we're getting started by cooking our rice. I'm using vegetable broth to cook my rice because I think it adds some nice flavor. I'm going to bring it to a boil, put it on the lid, turn my heat down to low, and let it simmer for 10 minutes. After 10 minutes, I'm going to turn my heat off completely and let it sit for another 5 minutes so it absorbs all that beautiful vegetable broth. Then I'm going to get started on frying up my veggies. So I've got a frying pan on the stove, and to that I'm going to add some oil. Once my oil is heated up, I'm going to add some finely diced onion and saute it for 3 or 4 minutes or until it becomes soft and translucent. Next, I'm going to add my peas and carrots. I'm cheating with frozen peas and carrots here. If you want to go ahead and use fresh, by all means, totally cool. While all of that is getting hot and bothered, I'm just going to whisk up 2 eggs. Now that my veggies are nice and soft, it's time to add my garlic. I'm going to cook the garlic for about 30 seconds before mixing all the veggies and then tossing them over to one side. On the other side of the pan, I'm going to scramble a few eggs. If you want to keep this recipe vegan, leave the eggs out. Not a problem at all. We're simply going to scramble our eggs, mix them with our veggies, and then it's time to add our rice. My rice is freshly cooked. It is ready to rock. We're going to season this simply with some soy sauce and some sriracha if you love the heat, and then we're just gonna fry it up for 2 or 3 minutes. It's as easy as that. You have veggie fried rice that your whole family will love. You're welcome. For lunch this week, I'm making Tangle Thai salad in a jar, and it all starts with a really beautiful peanut dressing. We are going to be combining some sesame oil, some soy sauce, some lime juice, and then I've got some peanut butter, some minced garlic, some grated ginger, and then a nice drizzle of honey. Then we are going to put our big muscles to work. To build my salads, I'm going to add a few tablespoons of this delicious dressing to the bottom of each jar. Then I'm going to layer in my veggies. As you can see, I've cut my veggies really finely to create that tangled look. For my red cabbage and red peppers, I used a sharp knife, but for my carrots and cucumbers, I actually used this really cool tool I have that juliennes your veggies. If you don't have a tool like this, it's totally fine. You can use a vegetable peeler to create little ribbons. Look how great these cucumbers look. They're so fun. I'm gonna start with my red cabbage. The hardiest vegetables when it comes to salad in a jar should always be on the bottom because they are the ones that will stay in contact with that dressing the longest. Then my carrots, my red bell pepper, and finally, all of this beautiful cucumber. I'm going to finish these off with some green onion for flavor. And then for some crunch, I'm adding some crushed cashews. These are optional, but they add crunch and of course, complement that peanut butter dressing really nicely. On go the lids, and there you go, lunch is served. When you're ready to eat these, all you need to do is give them a good shake and you can pour them into a bowl or eat them directly out of the jar. For breakfast this week, I'm pre-packaging some mango mandarin smoothies. Now I love pre-packaging my smoothie fruit because come morning, all I need to do is dump it into the blender with a little bit of almond milk and breakfast is served. It's as simple as that. In this case, I've got 3 mangoes that I've diced up and I'm simply going to divide them into 5 jars. If you don't have hundreds of mason jars like I do, you can definitely do this with zipper bags instead. That will totally work. Then I've got some peeled mandarin. We're gonna finish these off with a little bit of fresh ginger. I like to pre-grate my ginger because my blender can honestly just not handle the stress of going through an entire nub of ginger. If yours can, by all means, just put a little piece in there and call it a day. And that's it. You can put these in the fridge and come morning, just dump one into your blender with a splash of almond milk and there you go. Bada bing, bada boom. Breakfast, baby. Finally, on today's menu, I have an awesome snack idea for you guys. It's my wasabi edamame hummus. And of course, it's made with edamame beans. Now for this recipe, I like to use frozen edamame beans that have already been shelled. And all I do is cook them really quickly and then they are ready to use. So I've got my cooked edamame beans in the bowl of my food processor, and to that I'm going to add some lime juice, some soy sauce, some minced garlic, and some wasabi paste. Now when it comes to wasabi, you can add a little or a lot like me. The choice is really yours. We're going to top this all off with some freshly chopped cilantro and then give it a good blend. And then it's time to add our oil. We're going to add our oil a few tablespoons at a time until the dip reaches the consistency we want. We're going to season this liberally with salt, give it another few pulses, and it's ready to serve. I like to put these in individual jars and then serve them with fresh veggies for dipping. I really hope you guys loved today's menu, and if you give any of these recipes a try, be sure to tweet or Instagram me a photo because you know I love seeing what you're coming up with in your very own kitchens. And don't forget that this menu and lots of others are available in my Meal Prep Made Easy ebook. It's got tons of recipes, all the shopping lists, and lots of tips and tricks for making your meal prep super simple. And finally, if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe because there is lots more meal prep where this came from.